Welcome to the Dripping Springs Toastmasters Pandemic Edition. I'm your host, Nicole Bevilacqua, and I have a guest with us today, Craig Sprout from Rax Toastmasters in San Antonio. Craig, thanks so much for being here.
My pleasure, Nicole.
So, Craig, we're just going to jump right in. You have been with Rax Toastmasters for 5 years. Last year, you were the division director with Toastmasters, and before that, it sounds like you did some other fun things in leadership. And this year, you're not in leadership at all. So I'd love to know, how the hell did you end up in San Antonio? And I didn't prep you for this one. Why aren't you leading us this year?
Well, long story short, there's no such thing. I'm a Toastmaster, so there's no such thing as making a long story short.
That's true.
Well, let's go back in time. Come with me to a simpler time. In 2011, it was mid to late March, and the temperatures had not gotten over 50 degrees, and it was dark, and it was rainy, and it was cold. And so to set stage, because a lot of people won't know, this is in Montana.
Montana.
The first 40
Wide open
years.
spaces, big sky.
Big sky country, yes, ma'am. And so it's cold and it's dark. The winters they say February is 28 days. In Montana, it goes about 90 days of February, it seems like. So, and I worked, and the worst part was you go to work in the dark, and I worked in the basement, so I go down in the basement because you can't have IT people above ground, you know. And you come out of the basement, actually, and it's Craig, dark.
That is true. You cannot have them above ground because they burn in the sun.
We do, yes. Plus, there's a chance we might contact actual other human beings, and sometimes it's a bad combination. So I was in my office in the basement, and I just kind of got to spacing out a little bit, and kind of was doing a thought experiment about, well, gosh, if I could live somewhere warm, where it's warm and sunny, where would I go? And you know, I kind of thought West Coast. I couldn't do California, because if I wanted to be around Californians, I could stay in Montana, to be honest. Florida and the Gulf Coast was just like bugs and gators and hurricanes, and so that was not a real good option. And so it kind of came down to Austin or San Antonio. And because I've always had a real affinity towards Texas. Yeah, our family lore had Sam Houston as one of our relatives, which I found out is not the case, but it was a good story. But yeah, so anyway, it was down between Austin and San Antonio, and I kind of threw a dart and picked San Antonio because Austin, I don't think I would be a real good Austin fit. And where's the odd counter? We need an odd counter. So I looked around at employers, and I said, well, what's a good employer? What's the best employer in San Antonio for my field? Because, you know, as long as you're doing a thought experiment, you might as well dream big.
Yeah.
And long story short, I threw in an application, and 3 months later, I was in a U-Haul headed towards Texas.
Wow.
Yep.
So you've been with Toastmasters at Rackspace for 5 years. Is that the whole length of time that you've been in San Antonio? Like,
no, ma'am, no. Yeah, no, I got to San Antonio in 2011, and so I didn't join Toastmasters till about 2014, 2015, somewhere around there.
I probably could have done that math in my head, but something you don't know about me, I don't do math in my head. It's a general policy.
I was told there would be no math.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. So you work in, let's see if we can do this gallery view. So you work in internet infrastructure with an interest in cybersecurity. Is that right? Is that accurate?
Well, that's, yeah, I just say that simply because if I told you what I actually did all day, people would just kind of yawn, and they remember they have important root canals they need to get to. So it's usually just simpler to say I work on keeping the internet running. But as of in the past couple of years, I've developed a real interest that's not job related towards cybersecurity, personal information, and how that affects us in ways we don't know. And I've kind of come to the conclusion that if you're not paranoid, you're not paying attention.
Yeah, we have a member in our club who has also come to that conclusion, and it's interesting the steps that he will take that everybody else is like, you're crazy, and he's just like, no, I'm not.
No, it's truly frightening, the amount of, especially when you start talking, you can think about what happens to you in your personal life, like you run the risk of maybe your identity being stolen or your credit cards, your bank account being hacked. But when you start kind of going up the chain into nation state actors, that's where it gets really spooky. And I know I should have a tinfoil hat on for this, but I mean, it's just crazy some of the stuff that actually the United States has actually admitted to only one cyber attack where they took down ISIS media arm. So ISIS had this whole media complex of magazines and films and all this. It was a slick operation. And they actually had their cybersecurity, our offensive red team took them out.
Wow.
I'll put a plug in here. There's a podcast called Darknet Diaries. If you're interested in this type of thing, then I would certainly subscribe and give that a listen.
Darknet Diaries. All right, I'm going to add that in the notes for this episode. So what's one thing that everybody should know or do regarding their own personal digital privacy, cybersecurity that we don't do?
Probably the number one thing I'd say is lock your credit.
What do you mean? Like call the creditor and say shut it down?
Well, just lock it. You can call the reporting agencies and have them lock it. And so what that does is no one can apply for more credit under your name. That's probably the simplest, quickest thing you can do. And number two is just kind of be conscious of what people are asking and ask yourself, why are you asking me this? And I don't mean like on a personal level, but from a website and a forum. Why do you need this information? And probably they don't, and so I usually don't give it to them, or I make something up.
I think that's
13 Mockingbird Lane.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so thank you for sharing that. You shared some information with me before we got started, and let me know some things about you. So I would like to play a game with you that capitalizes on your skills. One of the skills that you shared with me is that you are, in your words, an inveterate bullshitter, which I am too. So thank you for being here. I'm so excited. And we came up with a game that we are going to call Learn to be an Aquallier. So a sommelier is someone who tastes wine and understands the nuances of wine so they can pair it with anything. Well, we are in training to be an Aquallier. We are going to taste water and understand the nuance of water so that we can pair it with anything. Now, before we started this show, we both got 3 glasses of water. I have 3 here. Show us your water, Craig, just so everybody knows. These are 3 different glasses of water. 1, 2, and
the mystery.
3. So we both have 3 glasses of water, and these waters have been carefully selected from unknown regions at this point. And they were labeled in advance, and it is unknown to us. So we're blind tasting today. Is that correct, Craig?
That is correct.
All right. So this is how it's going to go. You're going to taste your first glass of wine or water, and you are going to give us 3 adjectives or descriptions to let us know what it tastes like. And then I'm going to taste mine. And then we're going to try to guess the region, and then we will reveal if we're accurate. So our waters are from different regions. We don't have the same waters, but we're going to do this 1-to-1, okay? So
right.
You go first.
Okay. Hmm. Well, it has a very interesting bouquet. There's just kind of a note of savory in there, which I wouldn't expect from this. Usually you expect something a little more floral, a little more piquant, but this has a little savory flavor to it, a little spice that I wasn't expecting. I think, I don't know, the vintage I'm guessing is probably 2020. Not sure the region. I've got to think about this, but a very interesting choice. I think it would pair well with probably a chicken, like a roasted chicken, or maybe even some fish.
Awesome. Okay. Withhold your reveal. Let me try mine. Now, first thing I would like to point out, which you guys probably can't see, there's some interesting debris floating in this water. There's a little, maybe a bug, looks like maybe a little piece of dirt, some grass in here. It's got a very foul smell. I'm gonna go ahead and try it anyway. There's no legs on this water, not much anyway. Oh, that is rancid. That's really bad. I would say tastes a bit like sludge, maybe slime, pretty dirty, a little gritty, leaves a little bit of grit on the palate. Vintage, say probably January 16th, 2018, perhaps 2017, I'm not sure. Pairs well with a flat tire. All right, are we ready for the reveal?
Hey, yes.
Go.
This one was Kitchen Tap.
Kitchen Tap, well done, pairs well with roasted chicken. You win that round. Mine is filtered puddle water from the backyard.
My guess was the tap outside the garage, but
Yeah, pretty close. Excellent, excellent. All right, glass number two. Glass number two.
okay.
Right, go first.
There's not much of a nose to this one. Very, very uninteresting. It doesn't have any flavor at all. I was hoping for maybe a touch of that punch that you get from a good red. You get that nice burst, but this was just flat. There was no excitement. There was no flavor. There was nothing to it. I really disappointed in this one. I got to say, I would not recommend it.
Oh, you wouldn't even pair it with anything.
I wouldn't pair it with Lone Star beer.
And that is saying something. Sorry, Lone Star. If you're watching, yay, Texas. All right, glass number two. This one is much clearer. There's nothing floating in it. Ooh, that has a buttery scent to it. Buttery. It reminds me of my childhood in a way. That is good. This is like hanging out with friends at a slumber party. There's something very, I don't know, nostalgic about this one. I would pair this with M&Ms, Twizzlers, Sour Patch Kids, maybe some Coca-Cola. This is good. There's something about this one that reminds me of childhood. I like this. All right, are we ready?
We're ready.
All right, go.
Refrigerator dispenser.
That is pretty damn bland. Mine, water distilled from the leftover steam after popping corn.
Oh. That's a rare vintage. You don't see that one everywhere. That's a very rare and special vintage. So
It is. There's a lot of hard work that goes into that, and that is some special water. I'm gonna savor this one. Watch me.
I would hold that one. Do they carry that at specs?
You know what? If they don't, they should.
Might be a special order.
Okay. For this last one, I'm switching it up a little bit. For this last one, you have the label for my water, and I have the label for your water.
Okay.
Are you ready?
This should be interesting.
It should be. Go.
Well, this is in the mystery cup, so I don't see any color on it. So we're kind of, to coin a phrase, we're going in blind.
To coin a phrase.
Boy, the nose on this is a hint of perfume. There's a hint of perfume in there. Maybe a little. It almost smells like it might have come from Bath and Body Works. It's an odd bouquet. There's a back end to it that's just a little bit woody. Yeah, the sensibilities of this are just a little odd. I think it would be an interesting pairing with maybe some beef Wellington or some Chateaubriand. I think this might go well with a good steak and mushrooms.
And mushrooms.
Yeah, I would go with a good ribeye steak with some sautéed mushrooms on top, and I would certainly pair it with this water.
Excellent description. You were very good at this. All right, last one. This one, a little fruity. Not quite lemony, not quite citrusy, but there's something fruity about this. It's almost like a cucumber that's been soaked in a swimming pool. Soaking in a swimming pool. And then you sliced it and you dropped it in the water and you infused it with some rosemary perhaps and some strawberries. So it's got the chlorine, the strawberry, the cucumber, the herby flavor of the rosemary. And again, it's got some debris floating in it. Maybe this has to do with the cleanliness of my glass. You
may want to get your dishwasher checked out.
This I would pair, hold on. I would pair this with an ice cream sundae with some chocolate and peanuts on top, because I think the fruitiness, the herbiness would really accentuate the flavors in the ice cream sundae, and possibly with a pizza with arugula piled on top of it. I think that would be a good pairing. I know it's bizarre, but delicious. All right, tell me, what did I drink?
From the tap in the upstairs bathroom.
Well, you had bathroom sink water from Mom's house. The Bath and Body Works, you got it. The perfume, you got it.
Okay, that was weird.
That was amazing. You have passed the test. You are an official certified Aquallier. You are ready to pair water from anywhere in the world with any dish. Congratulations. Thank you for playing. All right, my last question for you. We have just a couple minutes left. How do you think this virus will change us? And what can we do to build our resiliency during this time?
I think there's going to be a sea change, I think, on how we view work. I think the current kind of 9-to-5 model might start to go away a little bit, because people realize if I don't have this commute, I can start work early or I can start later and work later. You can build your schedule around that. And employers are going to kind of see that, hey, we didn't lose a lot of productivity in this when this happened. So I think you're going to see, my hope is you're going to see a sea change on how we view work. One of the things I hope that comes out of it is I've noticed we are doing away with a lot of silly regulations. We're trying to cut through a lot of stuff and get things done, in light of some of the testing protocols and all that, as well as we're really kind of innovating here in our personal spaces that, like, hey, maybe it's okay to deliver beer. Maybe these things are okay. Why, these things are going to help keep the economy going. So I think you're also going to see a fundamental shift in kind of the way we look at things that aren't necessary. Like, do we really need all this bull crap? And let's just cut to the chase and get things done, and so people can work and make a living and so forth. So those are kind of the two areas that I think about a little bit. I also think, and to pile this on with what we were talking about earlier with the personal information and cybersecurity, is that this is just a reminder, there's bad actors everywhere, and they're especially going to be taking advantage of people's good nature and kindness. So I've already heard of fake charities that are popping up.
Wow, yeah.
And so I would just kind of, on top of everything else, remind everyone that, stick with charities, giving that is good. And a crazy idea, and this is crazy enough, it might work. Maybe just go out and help your neighbor. Go do it yourself. Give your time, give your energy, and things like that.
I love that. And I think that's really important. Everybody's kind of scared right now and we don't know what's going to happen. But as more information comes out and we better understand how this may play out, it's important to stay connected and to help each other, to help our neighbors, to do the best, to be the best humans that we can be through this experience. Craig, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing yourself with us, for sharing your talents of bullshitting and cybersecurity and just being you and showing up. It was awesome and epic and I loved it. You are welcome to visit our club anytime and I hope we get to hang out again soon.
Well, thank you, Nicole. I appreciate the opportunity. I'm honored to be your guest, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, bye.
Take care.